Good afternoon. We're going to get started. This is the Nutrition Support Monthly Call for July. I have included the link to the slides in the chat box. So please, if you want to follow along, you can refer to them there. My name is Courtney Neubauer, and today is July 5th. It's the day after July 4th. I know many of us were probably off yesterday, and now we're getting back to work. I see that we only have about 50 people on today's call, so I think there are a lot of people who are still on vacation. So we'll have this recorded, so if you know anybody that is off and they want to listen to this after it's done, it will be available. So before we get started on the actual content, I felt like this video was really important.
Pivot! 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 Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
So for any of you who are fans of Friends, I think that this small little clip kind of helps us think about the last 2.5 years, and even as this morning felt like we were still already making another pivot in how we're responding to COVID-19. So just figured it would be nice to have a little bit of a lighthearted start, knowing that there are many changes that are continually happening to our programs. So today we are going to talk about some of the things that we've talked about previously, where we are with pandemic EBT and the local level funding, Bulletin 746, which is the ancillary CMP supervisor certification, summer food service options. I know I've had many questions about the Keep Kids Fed Act, so we're going to talk about what that means. Also, our possible COVID-specific instance waivers, the transitional standards on milk, whole grains, and sodium, eScholar updates, and CEP Manager. We'll also have an update on where we are with trainings, and then other program reminders. So to start, our pandemic EBT and local level funding. In the last couple of weeks, we've received numerous calls and emails regarding the fund expungement for PEBT. So basically, what's happening is families have received cards for PEBT benefits, and anytime those funds are loaded onto those cards, there's a 9-month time limit that is set. So what we're seeing is that a lot of families who may have received funds much earlier in the year, their timer is expiring. So there are families that have a couple of dollars, and there are others that have much more, and those funds are being expunged from these cards once those timers have run out. So if you have a family that's calling you and telling you that their funds are no longer there, that is more than likely the reason is because those funds were put on there, that timer has since run out, and the funds have been removed from those cards. They should still keep those cards because if additional funds are provided, they will be issued onto that same card, and that time limit will then start at that point moving forward. The PEBT Frequently Asked Questions website is available. This is where I pulled the answer regarding the expungement. So, refer parents to there. I think that's a huge place to start. And there's also a step-by-step video for the PEBT parent portal. This is a huge benefit to families. So if they can access this portal, they can get on there and they can make address changes, they can request new cards. If you can direct families to this portal, it will help you with a lot of the phone calls that may be coming your way. In addition, other important resources and contacts, it's listed here for PEBT. And then I know the important question that everybody is asking is regarding summer PEBT and if there will be summer PEBT benefits. So currently, DCFS is working on their application for summer 2022 PEBT. More information will be made available as soon as we hear. And we expect that the plans will look very similar to prior summer benefits. And if families have already received cards in 2020, 2021, or in 21, 22, they should not throw away those cards. Additional benefits will be loaded on those same cards. Just as we had with last year, we had a deadline for receiving applications to qualify a family for summer PEBT. Last year, our deadline was July 30th, which was the last weekday of July. For this year, we anticipate that a similar date will be used with the application for PEBT. So school applications that are used to determine free or reduced price eligibility, and then also PEBT eligibility, need to be submitted to school systems no later than July 29th to qualify for PEBT benefits. If you have other, if you already have statuses on these children and they were already free, they don't need to submit a new application between July 1st and July 29th. So that's that status from this past school year, from school year 21-22, is still relevant for this summer. But if you have newly eligible families, they would need to submit an application, and that application would need to be in no later than July 29th to qualify for summer PEBT. Coming soon, so just as we had last year with fiscal year 2021 PEBT local level funding, we will also have fiscal year 2022 PEBT local level funding. So PEBT local level funding are any PEBT activities that occur between October 2021 and September 2022 in conjunction with issuing PEBT benefits. We will follow the same process that we used last year, where we will award a specific dollar amount to eligible entities based on the number of PEBT eligible children. So there were 3 tiers last year. There'll be 3 tiers again this year. You will not need to submit an application. We'll let you know when those funds are available, and we will issue those out to school districts. We anticipate that that will not be until September or October. So the USDA will not be releasing the funds probably until the earliest at the September. Bulletin 746, the ancillary certificate for child nutrition supervisors. This is just a reminder. So we mentioned this last month as well. Bulletin 746 was amended to revise section 703, which is the ancillary school certificates for child nutrition program supervisors. So individuals who are employed as child nutrition supervisors in Louisiana public schools and do not currently possess the child nutrition supervisor ancillary certificate are required to complete the certification application. The hiring standards for the ancillary certificate match the hiring standards for directors, which is listed in the federal regulations. And this certification is renewable annually when you present the 12 hours of continuing education as required with the USDA professional standards. We did post a memo SFS 22-X139, which contains all of the instructions about completing the application for the ancillary services certificate. Summer meal service options. We are now in July, so hopefully most school systems have made a decision as to how they plan to operate for summer 2022. So there are 2 options for summer meals. The first would be the Seamless Summer option, and the second is the Summer Food Service Program. We have had trainings regarding the Seamless Summer option and the Summer Food Service training. If you would like to review those slides or the video, they are available on Louisiana Fit Kids. As a reminder, we do have 3 waivers that have been approved by USDA, and these are considered state waivers. These are not nationwide waivers, and those are the first week site review waiver, which does not require, which if you have a returning site that is in good standing, you do not have to complete the first week monitoring form. You do, however, still have to complete the first 4-week monitoring form. That is a requirement for all sites. We also have the meal service time restriction waiver, which allows for a longer service time for breakfast and or lunch, and also snack. And the offer versus serve waiver, which allows for our non-SFA summer sponsors to utilize the offer versus serve option in the summer food service meal pattern. As a reminder, CACFP at-risk meals can only operate when the school is in session. So at this point in time, since the majority, if not all of our schools are operating under summer, the CACFP program would not be utilized in conjunction with summer. So once the school year ends, the CACFP at-risk program must end as well. There is not a waiver of the enrichment requirement. So enrichment must be offered. If meals or snacks are served on weekends or holidays, the enrichment must still be made available. So there is no waiver to the enrichment requirement under the CACFP at-risk program. Okay, now on to the fun stuff. So Keep Kids Fed Act. So we've gotten many questions regarding this new act. This has come just in the last couple of weeks. And at this point, I anticipate that I may not even finish this training before we may have additional information regarding this act. So President Biden signed into law on June 25th the Keep Kids Fed Act. And this provides additional support and resources to help child nutrition program operators continue to serve healthy meals to children. This act does not extend the broader waiver authority or the resources that allowed USDA to extend the full range of flexibilities currently in place. So although this act has some really great pieces to it, the broad waiver authority that we saw over the last 2 years is not included in this act. What this act does do is it extends USDA's authority to issue nationwide waivers that may increase the federal cost for summer meal programs only through September 2022. For school year 22-23, it provides a temporary additional reimbursement, which is over the base increase that we see on an annual basis. So typically, each year we see that there is an increase based on the CPI, and the increase that is anticipated for this year is around 7.4%. And in addition to that, on top of that increase, we will also see 40 cents per lunch that is served through the National School Lunch Program, 15 cents per breakfast served through the School Breakfast Program, and 10 cents per meal or snack served in the Child and Adult Care Food Program. In addition, it also provides all CACFP family daycare homes with the higher Tier 1 reimbursement for the entire school year. It also allows for USDA to issue limited nationwide waivers that do not increase federal costs during the 2022-2023 school year. So in short, since we do see that there may be some waivers that are made available for summer that increase cost, but we know that this act does not allow for waivers for the school year that increase costs. At this point, we do not anticipate that there will be any flexibility that allows for all meals to be free. So this last act kind of confirms that we will see a pretty standard year for this next school year as it returns to a semi-normal. So we expect that we will see the return of traditional counting and claiming. So on June 30th, we did have 3 nationwide waivers that were released for summer food service in the seamless summer option. The first 2 are related to area eligibility. So we do have the nationwide waiver to extend area eligibility waivers for summer 2022. We also have the nationwide waiver to allow area eligibility for closed enrolled sites for summer 2022. And then we have the nationwide waiver to allow the summer food service program reimbursement rates for the seamless summer option in summer 2022. So these are very specific to summer operations. So if you remember, we had those higher summer food service reimbursement rates that were allowed for all last school year and through June 30th. So now what we're seeing is that USDA has continued to increase those reimbursement rates for seamless summer to that higher summer food service program through the remainder of the summer operations. This does not raise the reimbursement rate any more than what it was in that previous slide for school lunch, school breakfast, and CACFP. This is strictly related to the summer operations. We do anticipate that there will be some additional waivers that will come out for summer and seamless summer. I did not finish the slides till late last night and was even ready to add some information as just a few hours ago if need be, but we have not received official communication. But we do anticipate that we will see waivers to allow non-congregate meal service in summer 2022. We will see a waiver to allow parent guardian pickup in summer 2022. And we will see a waiver to allow meal service time flexibility in summer 2022. We, at this point, are unsure of the exact verbiage of the anticipated summer waivers. We have been advised by USDA to wait for release before implementing. So just hold on. We do anticipate they will be coming, but until we are able to see the verbiage, we are unsure how they will be able to be utilized for the remainder of summer operations. If in the meantime you have a specific need related to COVID, we still have those COVID instance waivers that we can utilize if there is a strong need for those types of waivers related to COVID. But just know that we do anticipate these additional waivers coming through, but this will be specific for summer operations. These waivers will not continue in the school year next year. And based on the Keep Kids Fed Act, because these types of waivers do increase the federal costs, we do not anticipate that these waivers will come from USDA for the school year at all. What we do have for the school year for National School Lunch, School Breakfast is a waiver to allow fiscal action flexibility for meal pattern violations that are related to supply chain disruptions. So if a school system does have supply chain disruptions that cause a meal pattern violation, the state agency has the ability to waive any kind of fiscal penalty as long as there's documentation to support that the shortage is due to a supply chain issue. So that is it for the new waivers that have come so far. We do still have a huge suite of waivers that we have named the COVID specific instance waivers. So these waivers are meant to be available if needed, if there is a need, but meant to be more of a safety net throughout the next school year. So we do have waivers related to non-congregate meal service, parent guardian pickup, meal service time flexibility, and offer versus serve. These are not nationwide waivers. These are considered state waivers. So we had to apply for these and we were granted them, but they had very specific requirements as to when and how they could be utilized. These waivers are only to be granted for COVID instances when congregate feeding is limited. These waivers are intended to be a safety net if COVID cases spike over the summer months. We are only to approve these for short durations of time, and the approval will be based on very specific criteria related to a COVID instance. For summer and seamless summer, we do have the non-congregate meal service flexibility, which waives the requirements to serve meals in a congregate setting, and the parent guardian pickup, which waives the requirement that meals only be served directly to children. These are effective through September 30th, and these particular waivers are only to be implemented when congregate meal service is limited by COVID-19. Now, these waivers that I'm mentioning here are repeats of the ones I mentioned earlier with the Keep Kids Fed Act. So we anticipate that the waivers under the Keep Kids Fed Act will be a little bit more broad. So once we do receive that guidance, we'll provide that out. But if you do have a need right now, before you receive that additional guidance, please let us know. And if it's related to a COVID instance or an outbreak, we may be able to utilize these waivers. But we do anticipate that there will be more flexibility with those other waivers once they are released. And like I said, we do anticipate that they will be released very soon. They have not been released as of 1 o'clock when I got on this call, but I do anticipate within the next day or so, we'll have additional guidance to provide out. For National School Lunch, School Breakfast, we have the non-congregate meal service waiver. So this waives the requirements that meals must be served in a congregate setting, the parent guardian pickup. We also have a meal service time waiver. So this waives the requirement that set mealtime parameters for school lunch and breakfast must be followed. We have the offer versus serve waiver, which this waives the requirements to serve school lunches to high school students that utilize offer versus serve. So normally, high school students for lunch, school systems must utilize offer versus serve. So this waiver waives that requirement and allows that a use of offer versus serve to be optional at all grade levels. These waivers are effective until June 30th, 2023, but they are only to be used in instances where congregate service is limited because of COVID-19. We also have waivers that are specific to fresh fruit and vegetable, and that's the parent guardian pickup, and then a waiver for the alternate site. So if a particular elementary school that operates fresh fruit and vegetable has to close due to COVID, there is a waiver that would allow those children who were normally enrolled at that other site that is closed to receive fresh fruit and vegetable foods at another elementary school site. These are effective July 1 through June 30th, which is the school year, but once again, only to be implemented when there is a need. So in this instance, I would expect that there would be a true closure in school to be able to utilize such things as the alternate site. We also have a suite of waivers that are related to unanticipated school closures. So these would not really come into effect unless there were true school closures that were for an extended period of time, where we would need to revert back to summer operations or seamless summer. And so these waivers are definitely a safety net. So just kind of in case we need them. So we saw that it's unrelated to COVID, but what we saw after hurricanes is that often there were school systems that needed to utilize this type of flexibility for unanticipated school closures because schools were closed during that period of time. So we hope that we won't have any use for these particular waivers and that schools will remain in session. But just in case there is an emergency or we do see an uptick in COVID numbers that change schools and how they operate this next school year, we have these available to us if need be. We also have waivers that are specific to CACFP. And these are the non-congregate meal service, flexibility, parent guardian pickup, meal service time, and then also the on-site monitoring requirements. So the on-site monitoring requirements waives the on-site monitoring requirement and allows for monitoring to occur through off-site means. So whether it be through Zoom or phone calls or some kind of video chat, it allows for that flexibility. And these are effective for the whole school year, which would be July 1, 2022 to June 20th, 2023. We do have a few additional waivers for this next school year related to National School Lunch, School Breakfast. They were part of the whole COVID suite of waivers that we applied for, but they're a little bit more unique and not really so specific to COVID that I wanted to pull them out and talk about them separately. So the first one is the local wellness policy triennial assessment. So this provides flexibility in that assessment deadline, which is normally which would have been June 30th, 2022, and extends that deadline to June 30th, 2023. If school systems wanted to utilize that flexibility, they were to opt into that by June 30th, 2022. We had an online form, a Google form. We had many submissions, but that submission timeframe is now over, so that submission has been closed. We also have the food service management company contract duration. So this permits SFAs and SFSP sponsors to extend their FSMC contract that would otherwise not be eligible for extension, and they can do that through June 30th, 2023. We also have the administrative review on-site requirements. So this allows for, it excludes the on-site monitoring requirements and allows for off-site review processes when needed. At this point in time, we anticipate that we will be returning to on-site reviews for school year 22-23, but just in case we need to, we can revert back to off-site monitoring processes if needed. And these are effective through June 30th, 2023, but should only be utilized for the extent and duration that they're needed. Some other additional flexibilities that were included in that waiver request. The first is the paid lunch equity. So this waives the paid lunch equity requirements for school year 22-23. And this pertains only to school lunch prices that for school year 22-23. So you don't have to do the paid lunch equity tool. And so that would waive some of the requirements to increase those school lunch prices as per the tool. The next one, I have made it bold so it really stands out. I know I've received a lot of questions regarding this particular flexibility. So highlight it, star it, however you need to do it. This is really important. This is regarding carryover eligibility for National School Lunch, School Breakfast. So this allows our schools that operated seamless summer option in school year 21-22 to use the most recent free or reduced price determinations anytime since school year 19-20. And they can use those statuses during the 30-day carryover period of 22-23. And so this is effective for that 30-day carryover period. So basically, what we anticipate is since schools have operated under seamless summer, and even before that summer food service, that we have a lot of families that have not submitted meal applications. So if they're not free because of direct certification, then we don't have a status on them in the last 2 years. So this flexibility allows schools to revert all the way back to 19-20, which was the last normal year. So for 19-20 through March of 20 was a pretty normal year. So we should have normal submission of applications. So this allows you to go back to that period of time to use that status to qualify a child for the first 30 days. Okay, the next is the severe need reimbursement rates for the school breakfast program and the 2-cent differential reimbursement for the National School Lunch Program for school year 22-23 and school year 23-24. So I didn't include a lot of explanation here because most of this is processes related to how we at the state agency will qualify schools and SFAs for that severe need reimbursement and the extra 2 cents for lunch based on prior year data. So the memo is linked here. Feel free to refer to it. But most of it will be related to our processes on how we qualify schools and school districts for these extra funds. Okay, on to the transitional standards for milk, whole grains, and sodium. So this is a reminder, but I still included it because the school year begins now. So July 1, 2022 is the beginning of the school year. So these are the standards that are in effect now. So I thought it was important to once again remind everybody of what's included here, because this is what we're going to be utilizing now for seamless summer and also this next school year that begins July 1st. So this rule provides certainty for the next 2 school years while USDA works on permanent standards. They went into effect on July 1st. We do have 2 memos, SFS 22-90 and memo SFS 22-91, which contains additional information. And we also have a training slides and the video that we have available on Louisiana Fit Kids regarding this transitional standards training. The key provisions, the first being flavored milk. So this allows SFAs to offer flavored low fat or 1% milk at lunch and breakfast and as a beverage for a la carte sales. It also requires that there be an unflavored milk, so whether it be fat-free or low fat, but it must be available at each meal service. It extends these milk requirements for the special milk program and also for CACFP for children 6 and older. This rule also clarifies that lactose-free and reduced lactose milk meet the requirements for special milk and CACFP, just as it is with the other nutrition programs. The second provision is related to whole grains. So this requires that at least 80% of our weekly grains in the National School Lunch and School Breakfast be whole grain rich, and the remaining 20% must be enriched. And to qualify for a whole grain rich product, those are products that have at least 50% whole grains, and the remaining grain in those products must be enriched. So this is an increase from where we were before. The 50% of the weekly grains must be whole grain rich. So we're moving to 80%, which is just barely below 100% of our weekly grains being whole grain rich. The third provision is related to sodium. So it retains sodium target 1 restrictions for National School Lunch and School Breakfast through school year 22-23. And then from there, it retains the sodium target 1 for school breakfast only for school year 23-24. And it institutes a interim target 1A for the National School Lunch Program for school year 23-24. Okay, the next topic will be the Medicaid demonstration project for school year 22-23. This is a project that I am so incredibly excited about, and I hope that everybody is just as excited as I am, although I'm starting to feel that some of my excitement is just craziness and that other people don't get quite as excited over some of the stuff that I do. But I'm very, very excited about this. So I hope that that you all see all the great things that can come out of us participating in this project. So on December 14th, USDA announced that we were one of the 8 states that were selected to participate in the expansion of the demonstration project. And this is to begin in school year 22-23, which is now. So under these demonstrations, state agencies will match the school enrollment data that we already receive with Medicaid eligibility data. And we will identify children who receive Medicaid or who live in a house with a child who receives Medicaid and whose families qualify as either free or reduced. The matching process that we plan on using for Medicaid free and Medicaid reduced will be the same as we use for SNAP and TANF. If you have not looked at the slides from the direct match training for end users, I encourage you to do so. Medicaid free and Medicaid reduced will be 2 separate matching choices so that we will have 2 files available for download, one for Medicaid free and one for Medicaid reduced. We will be doing the work to determine if a family meets that criteria for free or reduced. So when we receive the file from LDH, we will use the income eligibility guidelines to divide that file into the free and reduced. So from there, you will receive 2 files, one for free and one reduced, that you will then be able to use for matching, do your near matches, and then download to then upload into your food service software. So we will be using the same file types, so the DM index and 3.0 file formats, and we will have the Medicaid free, Medicaid reduced. We hope to have these available no later than early August before everyone starts school. The file formats will be similar to SNAP and TANF. We have been working with the food service software vendors to ensure a smooth transition. And we have also had trainings. So we had 2 trainings, they were a repeat of each other, but 2 trainings related to the Medicaid demonstration project. And you can refer to the slides and the video, which are posted on Louisiana Fit Kids. What's new with the Medicaid project compared to our other direct certification is that we now will qualify families for reduced. So due to the differences in household definitions and income assessments between programs, we may have students who are qualifying for reduced through Medicaid, but may have been eligible for free meals had the family actually submitted income information on their application. So USDA does require that if a household qualifies for reduced benefits, that they receive a letter letting them know that they still have the ability to apply and submit an application that may, if their income meets those requirements, they may qualify for free meals. We've had a lot of questions about whether or not we'll have an update to our free and reduced meal application now that we've added Medicaid, and the answer is no. So since the Medicaid demonstration project requires that the child be automatically matched to Medicaid, if the family was to put their Medicaid ID on the application, it would have no bearing to whether or not they would qualify. So we are not changing our application because they're not allowed to handwrite their Medicaid case number on the application and that be proof of Medicaid. So those families that would be trying to do that would need to still submit income information or SNAP information if they qualified for SNAP or TANF. If we have a student that is already qualifying for free or reduced price meals because they submitted an application or they were direct certification with another program, they cannot be negatively impacted by the matching with Medicaid. So if a school system has determined that a child is directly certified for reduced through Medicaid, but they are also either SNAP, TANF, or FDPIR eligible, or they're homeless, a runaway enrolled in a Head Start program, or a foster child, then that other determination, the free determination, must supersede the reduced status. So if they submit an application or they're DC through some other program, that would supersede the reduced status. Okay, eScholar updates and CEP manager. So if anybody's asking, the June 30th deadline has since passed for our CEP elections, and I am still alive, so y'all did not give me a heart attack by waiting to the last minute to submit those forms. I am still here, but we have another deadline coming up around the corner of September 30th, so hopefully we can make it through that without a whole lot of stress and people waiting to the last minute. So right now with eScholar Direct Match, we don't have a lot going on. So our last file for school year 21-22 was the file that we received in early June, which was considered the May file. The June SNAP and TANF file, that will be the first file of the 22-23 school year. So we usually get that sometime in July. These will not be loaded into eScholar as early as we see with other months. And the reason why is because the entire system has to go through a rollover before those files will be uploaded into eScholar. So we expect that will happen sometime mid-late July, but that is when we will see that the file is loaded and you will be able to begin matching. So right now, not a lot going on there. We don't have any new files that have been released. All the matches should have already happened. Especially since we already had that June 30th deadline for CEP. So I would expect at this time, there's not much going on in the world of eScholar Direct Match. So CEP Manager, on the other hand, is still active. So our population data was due by June 30th. At this point, we have now opened the elections tab. You can go in there and make your CEP elections. That you can start making those elections for CEP that for school year 22-23. The deadline is September 30th, but that is, a month and a half to really almost 2 months into the school year. I strongly encourage, if you intend to operate CEP in school year 22-23, that you make that decision before the school year begins. So now between early August is really when those decisions should be made. It is much more difficult to start CEP and when we've started the school year and we have to potentially refund families or we've got applications coming in. So just please, whatever you do, try to make those decisions before the start of the school year. We do have our trainings from the CEP training from both March and February available on Louisiana Fit Kids if you want to refer to that. The CEP elections portal will look pretty similar to what you saw in the child nutrition website when we had elections there. If you have any questions, just let us know. This is a great time to get in. The numbers are locked in. So once you submitted that, since we relied on the system to pull those numbers are locked in. So really it's just elections. That's all you're having to worry about now. Training updates. We have a few trainings in July, but a lot in August. So our trainings are open for both July and August on Louisiana Fit Kids. In July, we have a training on July 12th for the civil rights training, and then July 26th for our National School Lunch online application. Our next monthly call is on Tuesday, August the 2nd at 1 o'clock. And then we have in August, we have Thursday, August 11th, HACCP and wellness policies. Tuesday, August 16th, procurement plan and code of conduct. Thursday, August 18th, accommodating children with disabilities and child nutrition programs. Tuesday, August 23rd, school breakfast meal pattern and offer versus serve. Thursday, August 25th, school lunch meal pattern and offer versus serve. And then Tuesday, August 30th, CEP related to the submission of elections. The agendas and the Zoom registration links are posted on Louisiana Fit Kids, and all of the training slides and recorded videos are also available on Louisiana Fit Kids. A reminder again to save the date. So our in-person obesity conference, which is part of the Understanding Childhood Obesity series, will be on Thursday, September 29th at Pennington Biomedical Research Center in Baton Rouge. This will be in person. So I know many of us are very excited to see each other. Some of us were able to see each other in person for SNAL, but this will give us another opportunity to see each other. So I encourage you all to put this on your calendar and save the date. And we are also planning a in-person state update for Wednesday, September 28th, which will be the day before the obesity conference. Virtual manager training is also available in July, so July 18th through 21st. The times and dates are listed here. Registration is open on Louisiana Fit Kids. If you're interested, please go to Louisiana Fit Kids to register. Other program reminders to start. This is just a reminder that the governor's proclamation, which included the suspension of the public bid law, did expire in March. So at this point in time, as we move forward into this next school year, you should ensure that all state procurement laws and regulations are followed. Also, be reminded that there is an exception still in state law for procurement of local agricultural products that support farm to school initiatives. The deadline for charter schools to submit their food service management company contract or agreement amendment was June 1st. That has passed. We are now into July. Contracts and contract amendments will be approved as of the date they are approved by the state agency. So if you have not submitted those, you need to submit those to us ASAP. If they're not approved, if you're operating programs for summer food service in the month of July, you will not be able to claim meals for the days that we don't have an approved contract. So if you've not submitted that and you have a food service management company contract, it is very important that you get that in ASAP. Civil rights updates. We've had a lot of questions regarding civil rights updates related to the update of the non-discrimination statement. So on May 5th, we did have a memo that clarified the prohibition of discrimination based on sex, which now includes gender identity and sexual orientation. This change does impact the non-discrimination statement and the Injustice for All posters, and the memos are linked here. As a reminder, our child nutrition programs already prohibit the separation by gender in meal service, and that is a memo from 2015. So I would expect that this change related to child nutrition programs is really minimal, if any change at all. And so we continue to do what we do and feed kids. So I don't anticipate that this will impact program operations. The non-discrimination statement, all documents, pamphlets, websites should be updated with the 2022 non-discrimination statement. The timeline for when those have to be updated is listed here. Websites must be updated within 90 days of the date of the memo, which was in May. Any documents, pamphlets using the old 2015 non-discrimination statement must be updated when you run out of that current supply, or no later than September 30th, 2023. And any new printing material must include the new non-discrimination statement. Until the new poster is received, do not remove the old poster. You can keep those up until the new ones are provided. Any poster language should be updated on websites, training presentations, and any pending brochures, pamphlets, materials. So just continue to use the posters that are available until new ones are provided. Coming soon, so part of the Keep Kids Fed Act, there were some funds that were allotted to USDA and state agencies in turn to provide additional supply chain assistance funds to school districts. We do not have a timeline on when those funds will be made available. We will distribute them in the way that USDA asks us to, which if it's the same as we did last time, it's a very specific formula that we will utilize to allocate that money, just as we did in December of 2021. And those funds can be used for this school year and next school year to purchase locally, domestically grown food for their program. So no exact timeline, but just something to be aware of that it is coming. Additionally, we will be posting our updated free and reduced price forms. So we don't have any major changes to the free and reduced forms for school year 22-23. The updates that we do have will be a change in school year to the current school year, the updated non-discrimination statement based on what was provided out to us by USDA. And then we do have a new eligibility determination letter for Medicaid matching. Just as a reminder, there is no universal free for school year 22-23. So USDA has not allowed for free meals to continue through this next school year. So families are going to have to apply for free or reduced price meals if they want to receive them, unless it is a CEP school. The school year has began on July 1st, so you can begin accepting applications for free and reduced price meals. And you should provide frequent, easy to understand messages to families to encourage the completion of meal applications. I think out of sight, out of mind for most of us. And so for the last 2 years, they have not had to submit applications. All meals were free. So as we move into this next school year, the more information we can provide out to families to have them submit that, hopefully it will make your lives easier and hopefully decrease the amount of debt that may start to accumulate from the lack of applications being submitted by households. Over the last few months, we've had the school nutrition program spotlight, and our goal here is to really highlight all the great work that's being done in Louisiana and our child nutrition programs. Since we're still in summer, we're trying to really highlight the superstars of summer that are making summer meals happen. So if you have a manager that you'd like to spotlight this summer, please let Kathy Carmichael know, and we'll include that person on all of our social media platforms as well as in our monthly calls. As we move into the school year, we'll continue this transition and hope to see managers, technicians, directors that are doing really great things that we can highlight on our monthly calls and all of our social media platforms. That is the end of our update for today. I know there's a lot of new things, a lot of things coming soon. Usually in July, things are a little bit slower, but it's definitely not the case today. So if you have any questions, please post those in the chat box and I'll answer those. Just as a clarification or a reminder for the 30-day carryover, it is a 30-day operating day carryover. So that's the days that we're in operation. So, so typically there's Labor Day that falls in those first 30 days, so that it'll extend it. There's weekends, so it's 30 operating days from the start day of school. So when you're counting that 30-day carryover period, it's going to be 30 operating days. The case number that's on the application right now is the SNAP case number, and that is completely fine that be there because we are able to use that SNAP number to qualify families for free meals, but that is not the case for Medicaid. So we will not be adding a Medicaid case number to the application because they will not be able to qualify for free meals utilizing that Medicaid case number, but they can still use the case number for SNAP, so that will remain on the application. The obesity conference, which is on September 29th, on September 28th, we will have a farm to school conference in the morning. And then the state update that we mentioned will be in the afternoon. So the farm to school conference, the state update, and the obesity conference will be on a combination of the 28th and 29th, and all will be at Pennington. So we hope that we'll see you all there. I will check on the Spanish version of the non-discrimination statement. I am not 100% sure that it is available, but I'm thinking it should be. So I'll look and see if I can find it, and we'll get that posted on our website if we can find it. The free and reduced price meal applications, we should have those, they should be available later today or tomorrow. So we should get those posted in the next day or so. We've updated all of them and they should be available very, very soon. So when we turn over the new site for school year 22-23, we will be updating the CMP website to ask for the EUI instead of the DUNS number for SAM registration or SAM verification. So just as we did with summer where we changed that requirement, we will also do the same for National School Lunch and to use that UEI instead of the DUNS number. All of the templates for National School Lunch should be available. I'm gonna go with tomorrow, maybe later today, but tomorrow we should have all of them available. So they're going through one final check and then we should have them available for posting. If you're having particular problems with the UEI and getting the system to take it, just let us know. You can contact us at childnutritionprograms@la.gov or the phone number here, and we can troubleshoot and see if we can figure out what's going on there. All right, any other questions? All right, thank you all for joining us. I'm giving you about 2 minutes left to your day. So I was hoping to finish right on the hour mark, but I'm giving you 2 hours back. If you have any other questions, please let us know, and we hopefully will see you on the next trainings that we have available, and we'll see you on the monthly call on August the 2nd. Thank you.